right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to week 19 of Walk the Plank, the Perry Athletic Department podcast that will take a deep dive into this week's activities here from an athletic standpoint at Perry High School. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us. As always, you can catch us on anywhere you get your podcasts, whether that's Apple or Spotify or Gene. They're out there everywhere for people to grab at this point, right?
Yeah, Alexa, you could ask her to play Walk the Plank. She'll throw that up for you so you can listen while you're washing dishes or just around the house. So, yeah, many ways to get it now. And then, of course, the video version will also be put out at some time in the next 48 hours.
Out there on YouTube.
Yes.
And as always, I'm joined by my co-host here, Gene Winters. Thanks for being with us as always.
Yeah.
And our head basketball coach is joining us today, Mr. Ali Stefano. Coach Ice is in his 13th season here as our head coach at Perry High School. Big win last night against the Edgewood Warriors. So this is a Wednesday. We'll drop the pod either Thursday or Friday, but as typical here in January, we're playing every Tuesday and Friday, some Saturday games coming up as well. We'll delve into the schedule a little bit. But the Edgewood Warriors came into Spectator Gymnasium last night and put up some points, but we got the win, which was the most important thing we were looking for, right?
Yeah, that was a fan-friendly game last night. If you wanted to see some efficient offense, you saw it from both teams. We weren't overly thrilled with our defensive side of the basketball, but you got to give them credit. They made a lot of shots, and they took advantage of maybe some of the miscues that we had defensively. But at the end of the day, we were able to get some timely stops there, made a couple runs in key points of the game, end of the second quarter after a timeout to start the third quarter, and it had a nice little run in the fourth quarter, which was enough to secure that win. It was a fun game. Kids played well.
Yeah, we played well offensively, and so did they. Do they have a percentage of what they shot? They shot pretty
I just
darn
looked
well.
before I came down because the stats came in. So they hit 10 threes last night on 28 attempts. So they were right around 35% from three-point line, which for high school basketball is pretty efficient. They were 55% from two, which again is pretty efficient, and based on the sample size that we had, that was their most efficient night. So, like I said, you got to give them credit. They came in with nothing to lose and no fear and played a good basketball game. Yeah,
so 79-72 was the final. Definitely had a different feel than most of our games. It was up and down. It was like, is there a shot clock in this game or what? Because it was every 8 to 10 seconds there was a shot going up, it seemed like, at least on their side of it for sure. And they played well, very resilient. They came back from a couple of big deficits, and I know we had a chance to push it out, and they just wouldn't go away. But end of the day, we got the win. And so now we're on to Harvey. The Red Raiders come in here this Friday. We were just talking a little bit about that off camera here, where we're a couple of big things going on. We've got our youth and travel nights. Rec travel night will be Friday, so any rec or travel player will get into the game for free. So hopefully we got a lot of little people running around here, grades K2, 8, and chance to see the Pirates for no cost to those guys. And then Luke Farrell, a former, I know you've got a good relationship with Luke as a former basketball star. Maybe a lot of people don't know that. They look at him as an NFL player, but he was a big part of our success here when he played basketball and obviously football as well. We'll be honoring him. He is our currently our only, to my knowledge, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, our only Perry High School alum that's an NFL. Anthony Kukwa's got a little bit of run in some training camps, but actually played an NFL game. Luke's our one and only, so we're going to honor him at halftime, and should be a fun night. But Harvey comes to town, so that's the sort of the fun around it, business side of it. Harvey comes to town. It's a CVC matchup. We beat them 70-63 over at their place. Was again a back and forth game, scrappy group. Coached by one of our former coaches, Coach Monty, who was our JV and varsity assistant for a long time. A couple of stints here. How are we approaching the Harvey game on Friday?
Well, we talked about it in the locker room last night. They only have 2 wins, and it's really misleading, the fact that they only have 2 wins. And they're well coached, and that's not just coach speak. Because Coach Monty used to be here in the Perry program. He does a nice job of organizing those guys and getting them to play hard. Darian had 30-plus points at that game at Harvey, and we still, just kind of squeaked out a single-digit win at their place earlier in the season. If you look at their box score, Obviously, they haven't been on the side that they want to be in with their record and these results, but a lot of single-digit losses. Even last night at Madison, they were up 10 going to the fourth quarter and couldn't close it out. Ended up losing by 4. They lost to Chagrin by single digits. They hung with Hawken the other night, which is undefeated in our conference for a majority of the game until Hawken was able to extend. So. We're going to have our hands full for a variety of different reasons on Friday, and our kids are aware of that, and our coaches are aware of that, and we'll do the best we can over the next 2 days to prepare for a scrappy, solid basketball team coming in here Friday night.
And as Mr. Rockwell mentioned, Monty, as your former assistant, is it different going against someone that you know, someone that knows your program, someone that knows what you're trying to accomplish year in and year out?
It's not different. I look forward to it because I have honestly so much respect for him. I enjoy the matchup. I enjoy talking to him prior to the game. I enjoy the way he prepares this team. I know how he's, because he's worked for us behind the scenes with scouting and personnel, that we're going to get a fully prepared Harvey basketball team, which is what we want. We want a team that's fully prepared and well coached and organized at a high level. And so he's obviously all in on Harvey basketball, but he's super supportive of our kids and our program. Just a quick thing to piggyback off that, last year we needed Harvey's help in the conference. We needed Madison to lose one more game to have an opportunity to get back in the running for the league, and they knocked them off in a close game on a Saturday afternoon, and it wasn't 10 minutes after the game ended that said, hey, we got you guys taken care of. We got you back, man. We got one for the Pirates. So it kind of shows his loyalty to our guys, our school, and so that's why I look forward to playing them. He's one of the best.
Yeah, and I know one of his things when he was here on our staff, he's a film guy. He watches a ton of film. I mean, you guys all do, but like out of bounds plays, everything like that. He's going to be yelling out of bounds plays. Yeah. Against us on Friday night. It's pretty. He's a pretty intense guy, but he's into it. He knows what he's talking about, and he just puts the time and the energy in. And so, we hope to come out with a win against Harvey. You mentioned Hawken. They are in first place in our division. For those of you who don't know, our girls and boys switched divisions this year in basketball. So we were in the Lake division before. So you had Madison and Edgewood and Lakeside and those schools. Harvey was in there with us last year, and Harvey and us made the switch over. Now we're more in the Chagrin division, which is Chagrin Falls, Orange, West G. Hawken is in there. How is that different? For you approaching things. Last year was a lot of fun with that division. Every game went down, was sort of not a one possession game, but a couple of possession games down to the wire. This year, different group. We've always played those schools, but now we're back playing them in a conference 2 times. We'll get a chance at Hawken. That's our only conference loss so far. But just your overall take on CVC stuff this year.
Yeah, no, it's been good. This, as you just mentioned, kind of brings it back to a couple, whatever, I don't know how long it's been, maybe 5-6 years ago, where these are the regular teams that we played for a pretty long stretch of time with the Orange and Chagrin. So we have a little history with those programs and going back a couple years. And you get a little different variety with the teams that we're playing right now, which is a nice change of pace. That Hawken team, I mean, they're the team to beat. They don't have any losses. We hung with them for a little over 3 quarters last time, and then they were able to extend. We get to host them on Friday, so if we get this thing done on this Friday, we get a chance to maybe hang that first loss on them at home, and if we can hang that first loss on them at home, it keeps us around a little longer, and that's what we want. We're going to try to hang around those conference standings as long as possible and try to put a little bit more pressure on them if they get one loss, that we're just one game behind them. So easier said than done. We got to take care of Harvey in that game first, and hopefully we're in that situation where we could try to kind of redeem one of those conference losses.
And as we were just talking, switch of division, but there's also, or switch of conference, there's also switch of division. So how does that play in this season? Obviously, you're going to, as it gets closer to playoff time, have to look at it a little bit closer. But when you initially looked at switching divisions, what was your initial thoughts?
Well, my initial thought was, I'll tell you, my initial thought was maybe this provides a little bit more of a path to to extend the postseason as far as you can, and that's always the goal. You want to compete for conference titles and you want to win regular season games, but at the end of the day, what we talk our kids about is playing our best basketball at the end of the year to try to extend in the postseason. The farther you extend, the more memories you create, the more fun it is. The stakes get higher and higher as you advance each round, and that to us is where we try to get to. So yeah, that was and then Coach Rockwell and I were talking about a month ago, and even though we're Division IV, it is loaded with some basketball talent. Basketball's different in regards to division alignments. It may or may not help in regards to the competitive teams that are out there in that division, but like we talked to our kids, you're looking at 5 to 6 kids to put a competitive team out there, 9 through 12. So you're trying to. School enrollment does matter, but at the same time, even smaller schools, if they have the right 5 or 6, man, they are absolutely difficult to deal with. So you got Warrensville Heights, you got Youngstown Ursuline, you got St. Joe's, you got Canfield, you got NDCL, just to name a few of those teams that are in Division IV that are scary. Really, really good basketball teams, and that's just a small list of teams that are out there in that division. So we'll cross that bridge when we get there. No matter what, it doesn't matter. Postseason is where that next level of excitement begins. So we're looking forward to getting to that point here in the near future.
And for those of you who don't know, Martin RPI is essentially similar to what is done in football as far as it's a point system, it's a ranking system of teams throughout not only the state of Ohio, but obviously to the Northeast Ohio district. Where we finish ranked in the Martin RPI is where we get to select. So that's the difference. If there is a difference between football and basketball rankings, it's football, it's set. 1 plays 16, 2 plays 15, and so on in the matchups. You actually get to go on the board. So let's just say where were we, Gene? We were number 5
Yep.
in the original Martin RPI. If you were the number 5, you get to go in that order. 1, 2, 3, 4 will go before us. We get to pick 5th, go on the board, and we're looking for, like Coach I said, the best opportunity to get as deep into the postseason as possible. So just so everybody's aware, there are now 7 divisions as well in basketball on the boys and the girls side. So like you said, that meeting for the boys is February 9th, so we've got a little bit of time between now and then to improve our record and see where we end up. We end up 8-2 overall right now, number 8, top of the crop, not as an important piece. Martin RPI and some of those things are a little bit more important, but still very impressive start to the year, about the halfway point. Just general, let's talk about our senior class. I like to always promote our seniors. We got four guys that are doing a great job for this program.
Yeah, it's easy to talk about those guys.
Yeah,
it's a good story. All 4 of those guys. They're all 4 of them start. All 4 of them play a major role. They play significant minutes, and we talked about this in practice before. Just about a week or two. They've all had different paths to the success that they're being able to bring to the program this year. You had Vince, who's going to come on here shortly, as a sophomore. That was kind of getting his development through a lot of JV opportunities. And Darian's similar. And then they were able to get a lot of experience as starters at the varsity level last year and got some nice little postseason accolades. And they've kind of picked up where they left off from last year and been obviously huge for us in a variety of different ways. And then the other 2, they had a little bit more non-traditional, patient, hang in there, grind through the program type paths. Where those Josh and Nick, they had to be real patient. Their sophomore year, it was tough for them to get JV minutes because of the numbers that we had and the talent that we had, and their best development came with helping out, the JVB kind of freshman guys, and they did it willingly. And even last year it was tough to get them for stretches of time in varsity games, but they developed through practice and the windows that they had, and now their time came this year, and they've taken full advantage of it and put us, along with Vince and Darian, in a nice little spot here through 10 games. So pretty cool, unique paths for these 4 guys to be able to do what they've done in the program and so far this year.
In the NBA with the Cavs, we have the Junkyard Dog Award for the scrappiest player. I see this year you guys have come out with the Hawk Smash Award. So what is this? How did it come about? How does a player earn it?
So we had a postseason, the Bring the Juice chain there for the last 2 years. We wanted to change it up this year, and I got to give credit to Coach Grant. We try not to give him too much credit in the program. We prefer to give him a hard time in most cases. But so we'll step away from that for a second.
Yeah.
This is something he brought to the table a little bit before the season. I think they did it one year when he played at Wilmington, and he said they got a big kick out of it at Wilmington on the roster. So we went and got the Hawk hands, and we just try to identify it with guys that are scrappy, tenacious, defended well. Kind of have that underdog mentality and doing the little things behind the scenes that are helping us be successful. It's 100% player-led. I passed it out the first time to, I believe it was Darian the first time, and from there I told them it's all on them based on these characteristics, and it's all on them if they want to pass it out, whether we win or lose, or if they feel like they need to hold it a little longer because we didn't quite achieve those characteristics that we wanted. So it's player-led, and I think they're having a good time with it when the time's appropriate.
And now in year 13 for you, not to go back too far, but how has the game changed from game one as head coach here at Perry to where you are now?
Well, it's changed a lot. The pace, the amount of data that we receive with stats, and obviously we're not at the level of college or high school in regards to analytics, but technology has really given us a lot of resources that we didn't have when we first started. When I first started as an assistant, even a head coach, we were sitting behind teams' benches watching live high school games to try to scout personnel and plays, and that seems like forever ago. And now we're getting access to 5 or 6 games on teams before we go and play them. I think the other area, just offensively, we've changed a lot from the time that we started. We try to go with our offensive philosophy a little bit more around our talent and what we have and our kids' strengths versus just, well, this is what we've always ran, let's continue to run it. So even this year we've changed up a lot of our offensive principles based on our personnel. That's been a little change of pace for our guys. So and there was a huge emphasis on defense early on, and apparently based on last night and maybe against Orange, we need to get back to some of those old school defensive principles. And we will, and we'll put together on both sides here.
Well, one of those things defensively, and I'm just looking at some of our stats. I'll shout out a couple of our kids here. Like Josh Sentgraf leads the area, the News Herald area, in blocks per game, 2 blocks per. It seems like he has about 6 blocks per game.
Yeah.
Because he's giant. Was he 6'7", 6'8"? So he's got that length and that size advantage. So he's leading the area in blocks. Vince is averaging 17.5 points a game, which is 16th in the area. 8.5 rebounds per game, 8th in the area as a point guard. That's pretty impressive. Darian's averaging 20 points a game. That's 5th overall. Almost 7 rebounds a game. Steals. He's huge at the steal game. He's 3rd in the area at 3.5 steals per game. So there's some defensive stats for you. These guys can get after it a little bit. So I know we're looking forward to a great rest of the year. Again, we're about at that halfway point, so glad to have you in, Coach, and I'm sure we'll have you in here as we progress down into February and we get that draw out there, and we'll see where we're at. But over the next couple of weeks, it's pretty much CVC play for sure on Fridays. We got South coming into town on Tuesday for a non-conference game, but sort of with that focus on those CVC games. We got 1 loss in the conference. We've got or 2 losses now, but we got to catch Hawken, and we'll get our opportunity at the Hawks here coming up.
All right. Yeah. Thanks for having me
All right,
on.
thanks.
Thanks for all your
Appreciate it.
support, Mr. Winter.
Oh,
Mr.
thank you.
Rockwell.
Yeah.
Thanks for promoting our kids and our programs.
All right. Thanks for coming on, Coach. Appreciate it. Coach Ali Stefano, come on out Friday night as they take on Harvey here at home. It'll be a no freshmen, right? So 5:30 JV game, varsity to follow. We hope to see you there.
Yeah, that's the one I'm looking forward to, coming out Friday night and seeing what the team has in store. We talked about it. They had the loss earlier. They're only their 2nd loss, but that snapped a 5-game win streak. Now they start their new streak with the win against Edgewood. So it's going to be interesting to see if you can continue to build upon the recent success that you had.
That's the goal.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it. We'll have you guys just switch spots out. All right. Thank you. Thanks, Coach.
Take care.
All right. Vince Tomasic will keep the boys basketball talk going here. We also have Gigi Dominish that will be joining us from our girls wrestling program. She's our female athlete of the week. Our male athlete of the week is Vince Tomasic. Welcome, Vince. Sitting in the chair for the 2nd time. Is he our first repeat?
Third member of
Third
the
member. Okay.
first boy
Okay.
two-time club.
All right. So Vince was a athlete of the week. So this is old hat for him. He gets a free Dairy Queen a meal deal and a Blizzard there. So I'm sure he'll take advantage of that. Vince, congrats on our athlete of the week. And let's just keep talking. We're 8-2 overall right now as a team. We've got a couple of losses within that conference. We've got a couple of big games coming up. How's just overall your take on the season so far and on how things are going?
I'm pretty proud of how we're doing so far. Obviously, last year we had a slow start, 1-4.
Yeah.
So to flip it around, go 6-1. I think we started off.
Yeah.
It definitely feels better. I feel like our chemistry it's there. Me, Josh, Darian, Nick, we've all been playing together for so long, and it definitely feels like we got a spark.
Yeah. And you guys go back to the days of, were you playing rec with those guys, travel? How long have you guys all been sort of together, if not on the same team? Obviously, you've been in the same grade, but
Yeah.
How long do you go back?
Probably 5th grade at least, 5th, 6th grade, yeah.
Now, for you, we'll go back a couple of games. Madison game, a couple of Saturdays ago was a nice back and forth game. You had a double-double in that game. It seemed like things started off a little slow for you guys, but in the end, you guys, scrapped your way to a victory. Just, talk about that rivalry game and what that means.
Yeah, it definitely means a lot. As you can see, I think the final score was 40-25 or something like that. So it was definitely a scrappy game. We saw they played Geneva, and final score was 37-27. So we were thinking maybe they were playing some pretty good defense. They slowed us down a little bit, but we found a way to win.
Got it done when it all mattered. And then you play a game like last night, and we've talked about the Edgewood. We'll just rehash it again. But as a player, how does that differ? So you go from that, like you said, 40-26 type of a game, low-scoring game, and now it's 79-72. You've each scored up 20 points in the first quarter, where we didn't even score that in a half against Madison. How do you adjust to that difference, that different up and down versus just a defensive grind struggle game?
Yeah, I talked about it last night, and I just think that when you see another team's playing good defense, like we saw Madison, we feel the need to play good defense. And then when it turns around, you see a team that plays good offense, you feel the need to play good offense.
Right.
So I think maybe instead of focusing on player better offense, we focus on player better defense next time.
Right.
Because obviously defense wins you games, and I think we saw them get hot, so we knew we had to, or we weren't going to come out with the win.
Yep.
And coming down the stretch last night, you were the one going to the foul line late in the game. What are you thinking as you approach that? Obviously, you want the ball. You want to be in that situation. How does that process work for you, the practice that goes into, succeeding in that moment?
Yeah, for sure. Like you said, I want the ball in my hands during that time, to try and seal the game. And, we practice free throws a lot in practice, so, we don't just do them before and after. We do them after drills while we're tired, all that kind of stuff. So definitely practice helps a lot during that time.
And that scrappiness that Edgewood showed that we talked about, just keeping themselves in the game. We were up 12, they make an 8-0 run. We were up 8 late, and they make a 4-0 run to cut it to 4. And then a big defensive play. I can't remember if it was you that knocked it away or somebody that knocked it away, but got it to you up the court and a two-handed slam. Is that your first one this year? Second dunk this year. How many overall? Did you dunk last year?
Nah,
okay.
I kind of did. Not really.
Nah, sort of. Okay.
Sorta, yeah.
But that was about the best dunk that I can remember, us having here, probably since Jackson Birdie-Shaw. I was talking to some people last night after the game. I agreed. It was pretty impressive to go up there two-hand. And again, I think I said this the last time Vince was on, he's done a fantastic job of really embracing Coach Krissinger's strength and fitness class, and he made huge jumps between that sophomore and junior year. He's, ends his sophomore year, Coach Ice referenced it. You were playing some JV, a little bit of varsity maybe, and then boom, works hard in the off season. I see him in the gym in June, and he's dunking the ball. I'm like, where is this coming from? It was pretty impressive, and he's just been a great leader for us overall and taking us to good places here. So you and Darian, as I mentioned, you're averaging almost 40 points a game combined. Are you guys seeing teams that are trying to take that duo away? I mean, that's, well over half of our points, probably 2/3 of our points are coming from two sources. Do you see that happening on a game-by-game basis, or teams just like, hey, we're just going to come play you straight up and we'll see what happens?
Yeah, 100%. We notice it. We notice it every game.
Yeah.
Darian's probably more of getting face guarded because he's a shooter.
Yeah.
I'm more of, you just guys helping in gaps, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we definitely notice it. But with our offense and when we move the ball around so much, defenses, they forget about that, because we're high pace. And I think Hawken, they definitely did a good job at that.
Yeah.
We're bringing the ball down the court. You hear their coach, their 7 coaches they had screaming, watch him, watch this. So, yeah.
Well, as being one of the focal points of an opponent, how do you go into the game and not force it? Like, how do you stay in your own game and not get caught up in the other game that's going on?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes there are shots, that are forced. That happens to everybody,
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I just try to score. Same with Darian. It's in the flow of offense. We do some ISO ball, but we try to stay away from it unless we know we need a bucket or something like that. Yeah.
And not to put you on the spot, maybe this is a question better for Coach Ice when he was here, and I missed the opportunity. But when this is all said and done for you and Darian, I mean, do you guys go down as the best 1-2 boys combination in Perry history?
I was thinking about that the other day. We were thinking about Braden and Jake, but
Yeah.
I think me and Darian do go down.
Okay.
Yeah. Throw Shiano in. Like, there's a couple
yeah.
combinations.
Shiano and another
you could-
Cubison, yeah.
Yep. So yeah, I was thinking about that this morning when I was plowing the driveway, and obviously it should have came up to Coach Ice, but maybe
Yeah.
we'll wait till the season's over, have you back,
Yeah,
and
we'll have him back.
you'll solidify it by then.
Yep.
All right, Vince. Well, hey, congratulations on a great year so far, and congratulations on getting us to 8-2 as our point guard. I know, again, we look to you for our leadership, and not only scoring and the rebounding, but the leadership aspect is so big as a point guard. And 8-2 heading into that big Harvey game Friday, and then Hawken on the 24th. If I can, sort of tell our students, we need to be louder.
Oh yeah.
We need to be better. Our student section, they get comfy in these chairs like this. They're sitting back. They're relaxed. They're like, the Edgewood JV team was making more noise than our student section last night. So I'm going to talk to Alex Dame and the leaders in that group. That game against Hawken, we need a home court advantage, and we need to show up and make some noise that night.
And the last thing I have for you, obviously Harvey coming in this weekend, a team that you've already played. We talked with Coach Ice about it. Coach Monty coming back. How does that all play, and how do you again take care of business that's in front of you?
We just gotta do what we do every week. Obviously, the opponent matters, but the mentality stays the same. So I mean, we definitely struggled this year and a little bit last year against Harvey. They match up well with us, but we just gotta work hard in practice, and we gotta definitely prepare for what they're gonna do. Coach Thomas does a crazy good job at that, so we'll be good, I think.
And is there, you've been with Coach Ice now for 3 years, is there something after a game, win or lose, where that this catchphrase or this cliche is coming, that you've heard so many times that is coming, and you kind of just, I don't want to say roll your eyes at it, but you receive the message, but that is the message that's coming?
I mean, Coach, not really with Coach Ice. He has a way with words. He says a lot of different things. Like, honestly, there's every coach I've ever had really has that one thing, like you said, that they say. But I feel like Coach Ice every week he switches it up. Yeah, so he's given us a lot of different things to say.
Okay, Vince, congrats on a great year. We're at the halfway point. Best of luck the rest of the season, my man. Appreciate you coming in. All right, Vince Tomasic, our male athlete of the week here for the Perry Athletic Department. And again, the Pirates will be in action this Friday, next Tuesday, and next Friday, all at home. So come on out and check out the boys' team. They're having a great year so far. We're going to welcome up our female athlete of the week. Come on up. Gigi Dominish of our girls wrestling program will join us. Gigi, thanks for coming on. And here is, again, thank you to Dairy Queen for our meal deal. I don't know if you can eat this. You have to wait until after the season's over. I can give it to your coach or your mom, whatever, after. But we'll give it to you. And you use it when you want to use it or when you're allowed to use it. I know we've had, when we talk to our wrestlers and some of our coaches, that sometimes people don't realize how important the nutrition aspect is, or how much, the watching what you eat and your weight. You have to make weight at every match or every tournament you're going to enter. So hopefully you can use that soon. But we do appreciate you coming on. Gigi is having a fantastic year. She is only a freshman here at Perry High School, so it's our first year of varsity wrestling. But just some stats here I'm going to throw out, and then we'll start talking about your season. You're currently 26-3 overall. 21 of those 26 wins have come by pin. First place at the Battle of the Lake at Madison. First place Lady Battle on the Hill at Urbana. Second place at Hubbard, where your loss was to a state placer from last year. First place at the Lady Longhorn, that's Lutheran West. Second place at Woodmere, which was a tough 0-3 loss to a state placer from last year. And then your first place at the Lady Vikings at Akron North this past weekend. So pretty impressive way to start out your career here from a high school wrestling perspective. How would you, obviously pretty impressive, how would you sum it up so far? Are you happy with where you're at? And just sort of tell us about your season so far.
It's been really good so far. I don't know what to say.
That's okay.
I know it's just been really good.
Okay.
I'm just going to keep progressing. I want to keep going. I don't want to stop where I'm at. I want to make sure I keep pushing it. I want to keep placing. It's not just these little tournaments.
Yeah.
If I do lose them, it tells me what I need to get better at, and it lets me know this is a weakness I need to get over.
But if you're picking up first place finishes, how do you then improve on that? Or do you find little battles within your game that, yes?
Yes, if I rewatch my matches, I can find little things I can pick up on and see this is what I did bad on. Then I'll fix this up in another match.
Okay, and then if you have 3 losses, I'm assuming I read 2 of them are just state placers. I'm assuming the other one had to be a very a good wrestler as well. So knowing that you've got state placers that you've had the only losses to, and I'm sure that's ultimately going. Let's talk about some of your goals for the season. All right, so we're at 26-3. You've got this success rolling, like you said very well. You want to keep it going along. Ultimately, what are some of your goals for this season for you?
I really just want to see where the season takes me.
Yeah.
It's really I'm really into it. I really like pushing forward. All the hard work is something I enjoy doing.
Okay. Awesome.
And obviously you're having the success this year, but let's go back to middle school and how you, I guess, got involved into wrestling. Was there a parent, a sibling?
Yeah.
How does wrestling come to you?
My dad mostly.
Okay.
My brother wrestled when he was little. He still does it right now. And my dad was the string that got me to do it.
Okay.
Are you the best wrestler in the family?
No, my dad is.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah. He's still okay. So last year you were second at OAC middle school girls state, 5th in the CVC last year, which doesn't sound impressive until you say it was in the boys division. So 5th overall in the CVC with the boys last year. And then, and here we are, it's his freshman year. We've got CVC girls wrestling coming up this year. It's the first time. We're actually not going to go to that tournament. They were able to put sort of at the very last minute, about 2 weeks ago, they said, we're going to have about 75 girls for the CVC. But we were committed to the Iron Maiden tournament already. So,
Yes.
And that's going to get our girls a little bit more ready to go. The CVC is sort of just trying things out a little bit. So we're going to go to that Iron Maiden. And then, I was at a meeting yesterday for the OHSAA, and that the sectionals and districts and state are all right around the corner. So what, you talked about your tournaments and what you're trying to take away from them. So as you go now over these next 2 to 3 weeks into early February, what are you, again, is there things that you're looking for in order to sort of get you that next level? Is your goal a state? You want to qualify for state, win state? What are you thinking here for the postseason, just in general terms?
I generally want to be able to qualify for state, make it through regionals and pre-regionals. Once I get to state, I want to push. I want to make sure I get as far as I can.
Right.
I don't want to leave any opportunity hanging.
Well, and I think that's the cool thing about being a freshman is, and a lot of times what you've seen or what I've seen in my career as an athletic director is you see the kids getting there for the first time that are maybe a senior, and I've accomplished this, which is an amazing goal to have and to accomplish. But now you're there for the first time and you have those nerves and you have a little bit. So you might have a little bit of that this year, but you're a freshman and you're going to have, no matter how it goes this year, you're going to have 3 more opportunities to sort of learn and really take that experience that you have. Whether it's at districts, regional, state, you're going to have that experience when you come back next year.
I definitely think it's going to show me where I'm at and how well I'm doing, and it'll definitely like give me more keys, like give me more pointers on what I'm not doing right.
And we talked with Trent Taylor last week about this. So how do you prepare for a match? Is it headphones on? Are you sitting in the corner? Are you trying to stay loose? How do you prepare for your first match of the day?
I'm definitely like walking around. I'm stretching. Like that's what I really do. I'm either stretching. I have my headphones on. There isn't much to it. I'm just telling myself that no matter what, a loss is a loss. I'm going to learn from it.
Okay.
And as you get ready for an opponent, you said obviously you watch yourself wrestle and try to pick up and improve your game. Do you watch other girls that you may end up facing, or do you just get out there and believe in, what you do best?
I will watch some other matches. It's not all the time, but I know my dad and my mom are really into watching them, and they'll tell me what I need to look out for.
Yeah, little scouting report,
Yes.
little background. All right, and then let's talk about our girls wrestling program here at Perry High School and Perry Middle School. It's something that we've been trying to get off the ground now for 2 or 3 years, and here we are. We've got 4 or 5 girls at each level. So what does it mean having Abba and Abby, Eva, Emily on your right there along with you as you're going on this journey, and you're all sort of a team together? How has it made you guys a little bit closer and from a team perspective?
We all see each other as sisters because
Yeah.
we're always in one van. There's not enough of us to have two. So we're always in one van together. We're either on top of each other sleeping or talking about something stupid.
Yeah.
We're always there for each other. Eva's like the older sister. She's helping everyone, telling everyone they're doing good. Emily's her younger sister, so Emily's
Yeah.
she's falling behind Eva. Me
Yeah.
and Abby are a lot closer than we're a lot closer compared to everyone else because we said that we get the back. That's we said that we get the back of the
That's
van.
the rule. All right. Well, Gigi, so far, just a great start to your high school career here. Again, 26-3. We've got some big tournaments coming up that'll hopefully continue to get you and the other girls in our program ready to go. And at the end of the day, as Coach Isofano said, those are the most fun. These postseason matches that you're going to be able to experience and at that district level and hopefully further are going to be a ton of fun, and it's what you work hard for. So great work so far. Congratulations on a great year, and we're going to be watching you here as you finish off the year.
Yes. If I could I give
Yes,
a quick shout out
you
to
sure
Dan
can.
Gianelli, our
Yeah.
head coach of the wrestling room,
Yeah.
as well as Chris Bezig,
Yeah.
Jason Thomas. They're always there consistently every day. They help out a lot. As well as my mom, she's the head coach for the girls wrestling, making
Yep.
sure everyone stays in line.
Yep, definitely. It's great to shout out because it's one of those things that people may not know, how, and this, every sport's a little different, but our wrestling coaches, there's a lot to do when it comes to the sport of wrestling. There's setup and tear down and working the mats. Like our parents in the wrestling program overall and our coaches are beyond dedicated. And again, there's nothing against basketball or swimming where they're just sort of showing up and you jump in the pool and you swim a lap or you play a basketball game. We've got to set up the wrestling mats. And by me, I don't mean me. It's not me setting it up. It's these guys doing the work. And it's the coaches, helping out and doing that sort of that grunt work, that labor to set up these, Pin City. We had 6 mats here. It takes hours upon hours to tear down at the end and set up at the beginning, and all of the concession stand workers and to pull off an event like that, you have to have a huge support system. So I'll give a huge shout out to everybody, but Coach Trentelli and his staff have done a great job. Your mom's included in that as our girls coach, and we're extremely proud. I know on both boys and girls side, we've got a lot of success so far and hopefully a lot of success to come. So we appreciate it.
you.
Congratulations on a great year so far. We'll be watching as you finish up.
We can't leave yet.
Oh,
You
that's
gotta
right.
ask her your.
I got to
Yeah,
ask you these questions.
We didn't have to do it with Vince because he's a two-timer here,
Yeah,
so we got to
so
get
sorry,
to know you a
Gigi.
little bit more before
We got to
you
go beyond just the wrestling, so hopefully we don't catch you off too guard. I didn't give her any
Yes,
heads up about this, but we're just going to ask you some of your favorite things.
Okay.
Okay, so favorite food.
Probably either Chinese food or sushi.
Okay. We haven't
Yeah,
had that answer.
we have not.
That's a good answer. That's a unique one. And anywhere in particular you want to get your Chinese food or your sushi?
Osaka sushi.
Osaka. Okay, where's that at?
It's in Madison.
In
It's
Madison.
that little village.
Oh, okay. I know where
Yes.
that's at now. Okay. I'll have to give that a shot. Favorite subject in school?
Either biology so far.
Biology so far. Okay. Favorite movie, or if you're not a movie person, TV show or series?
I don't have a favorite at all.
Not
No.
not doing that. Okay. Favorite athletic memory from Perry. Now this can be all the way from kindergarten and whatever rec, all the way up to now as a freshman sitting here at 26-3.
I want to say probably this year I went to, when I wrestled at Urbana, the girl
Yeah.
I lost to. We lost. It was a really close match. It was
Yeah.
10-12.
Okay.
And I was able to wrestle her again because of the way the brackets were put
Yep.
together. And I pinned her in the first period. And it was really like,
Okay.
it was just this great comeback.
That's awesome. Well, those are the kind of stories we want to hear about. That's pretty sweet. Hobby away from wrestling. Do you have time for one? Do you like to do anything else outside of
I do.
that?
I like there's a widespread. I like to either bake or cook.
Oh, cool. Anything in
Either.
particular? What's your specialty?
Probably like cookies.
Cookies, okay.
Cookies.
And then, if money was not an object, where in the world would you go to visit if you could go anywhere?
I don't know. That's hard. I don't know where I'd go.
Okay.
I have no idea.
All right, we'll give you some time to think about that. My guess is at some point she'll be back on this program, but we appreciate the time. That'll wrap up our interview with Gigi Dominish, girls wrestling phenom. And again, Gigi, best of luck. We
Thank
wish you the best here as you finish out the year, and we'll see where it takes us.
Yeah, it's another nice accomplishment. Nice to get to know someone else in a sport that is up and coming and really exploding now onto the scene in girls wrestling. So it's nice that she has the support from the school and from the OHSA to continue this journey.
Yep. All right, Gigi, thanks very much.
you.
You can just exit off to the right. Mrs. Bezig will be happy to have you in class now. If she has a problem, I can vouch for where you were. So, Gigi Dominish joining us from our girls wrestling program. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun to watch. Both boys and girls wrestling are having fantastic years so far. I'm excited about both. The boys team, we have a great dual team. We don't have enough girls yet to have, enough to wrestle all of the weight classes, but our boys are very strong, 1 through 14, and we actually get to host. That's one thing as we start to transition into some other sports here to talk about. On February 1st, we're going to host the state dual state placing round here, sort of like a regional level, if you will. We'll have 4 teams here, and we'll wrestle winners. Will wrestle winners. If we win both matches, we'll qualify for the state dual championships, which are down in Columbus on the following Saturday, February 8th. So Saturday, February 1, we're going to have wrestling in the morning at 10, and then we hop right into a triple header for boys basketball, 1, 2:30, and 4. JV basketball at 5:30. And varsity girls at 7 on February 1. So we just made it a 12-hour day.
Yeah.
Why not?
I'm sure all the employees and everyone within the athletic department
Yeah.
has been thrilled with that message. So,
Yes.
But continuing that,
Yeah.
boys wrestling. I mean, they had
Yep.
the big win against Madison
Yep.
this past weekend. It was a great way to honor the veterans as well.
Yeah, we want to honor the veterans. We have, a lot of them that have served our country, that have been part of our wrestling community, our family, on both sides, Madison and Perry. And we say it's always great day to beat a streak or to beat Madison, and it is. It's a great rivalry. But at the end of the day, we want to put that aside for the beginning part of that night and thank our veterans for what they've done. And so thank you to Mrs. Trentinelli and the schools for helping with that, and we were able to do that a little bit. And then we got the victory,
Yeah.
which was, like we said, that's sort of the second part. But hats off to Madison. They wrestled hard that night, a little bit probably tougher than we anticipated. Gave us a bit of a run for our money. But again, I'm excited about where we're at as a dual team. Always excited to see how many kids we can get down individually to state as well, but I'm really pumped up about what our dual team looks like this year.
Yeah, and then this weekend they're back in action. Well, I guess let's go back.
Yeah.
They wrestled at Lakewood as well last weekend. How did that turn out for the boys?
Yeah, another big, another big meet. 12 teams out at Lakewood, and again, when you're in these tournaments, I mean, obviously you want to win the championship or you want to be first place and all those types of things. But the nice thing about those, where as an example, the night before when we wrestled Madison, I think Madison ended up with 2 or 3 forfeits. So those 2 or 3 wrestlers on our end don't get to wrestle. They get to go out there, they get their hand raised by the official, but they don't get to compete. And that's the tough part sometimes in the sport when you're just doing duels. The tournaments give you can wrestle up to 6 matches now in a day. It used to be 5. Now you can go to 6, and it's going to give our kids lineup 1 through 14 the opportunity to wrestle 6 times. And it's like Gigi talked about. Learn from your mistakes.
Yeah.
Learn from a loss. You can learn from a win as well, and learn again with that focus on how do we best have success in the postseason, not only as a state dual team, but as an individual wrestler trying to qualify to get down to state in Columbus in March. And that's what these tournaments are able to do. And there's some out in the wrestling world, we should just be doing duels and this and that. The tournaments are the way of the world,
Sure.
and that's where we're going. We're going to a huge one this weekend out at Maumee Bay, out in Toledo. The team actually leaves Thursday night after practice, and it's a big, huge 2-day tournament, 40-some teams, if I'm not mistaken. So again, just another opportunity where teams are coming from multi-states, Michigan, Indiana, Ohio, and so on, and it's going to give our kids a great experience and a great base to have future success.
And how does that work wrestling an out-of-state player? Obviously, in football, some of
Yeah.
that stuff doesn't count. Is it the record's the record? I would think in wrestling.
It is. The record is the record, and there are national rankings out there. But yeah, so and they know each other, even if they're out of state. They're gonna hear of somebody if they're having success. But it doesn't impact us whether you're from Michigan or Ohio or Indiana. We'll wrestle anybody, anytime, anywhere. With the idea, again, it's gonna help us be really prepared for that postseason run.
And 11 of the wrestlers placed in the News Herald, from the 106 all the way to the heavyweight and
Yeah.
Trent Taylor. A lot of accomplishments coming from those 11.
Yeah, so I'll just go through this real quick just so we can keep, our wrestling stats leaderboard at the News Herald. Jimmy Trentinelli's 15-5 with 11 pins. Hunter is 15-5 with 7 pins. Cooper Schlau, 16-5, 12 pins. Landon Rusnak, 13-7, 9 pins. Anthony Trentinelli, 15-3, 4 pins. Lucas Spring is 15-4 with 11 pins. Chris Bezic, so it goes on and on.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't, that's what I mean. Like 1 through 14, we are loaded. Chris Bezic, 16-6, 7 pins. Chance Schlau, 18-6 with 14 pins. Eddie Cooney's 12-8 with 9 pins. Nolan Lieben is 11-10. 10 of those 11 wins are by pin. Trent Taylor, who we had on here last week as our male athlete of the week, is 13-3 with 9 pins. So, and then our Antonius Bertone, Chris Bezic, Chance Schlau are all on at the News Herald watch list, and 13 starters back from last year. Again, just sort of speaks for itself, the excitement that's there and why it's there in our wrestling program.
Yeah, so good luck to the boys as they travel out to the Toledo area
Yep.
coming up this weekend for the 2-day event out there. On the girls' basketball side, a 3-game winning streak for the girls. They had some impressive wins last week at West G, at Orange, but they have a big one tonight, which is Wednesday night at Richmond Heights.
Yeah, girls basketball also number 8 in the News Herald, top of the crop in our most recent, and same as the boys. So it's always good to get that recognition. And yes, Richmond Heights, came in here last time and took it to us a little bit, and we were worried about their size. And so we sort of packed in a little bit of a zone, and then they hit a bunch of threes,
Yes.
which we had not seen. It was an early season matchup, so we had not seen that from Richmond Heights. So came as a bit of a shock. I know Coach and following Coach Austin and his staff, those guys will be ready to roll tonight, and I'm excited to go watch the game and see what changes we've made and how we adjust and adapt to that team and what we're going to try a little bit differently to go out there and get a win on the road tonight.
And we talked about the RPI ranking with Coach Ice when he was here on the boys' side. Same thing for the girls' Division 4, Northeast District. They come in at number 11.
Number 11, and again, what it's going to do for us there is, there's 46 teams in Division 4 in the Northeast Ohio area. So right now we're number 11 out of 46. So pretty darn good to start. We're certainly in that top quarter of teams. And it's just going to give you the best opportunity to go where you want on that bracket. And ultimately, hopefully we can move up a few more spots. If we can get into that top 10, the higher the ranking, the better the selection that you have. And it's going to, beating a dead horse here, it's going to give us the best chance of success in that postseason and as we make that run. So I know every win counts and makes that RPI number go up. So I know that's our focus on both the boys and the girls side.
So good luck to the girls tonight on Wednesday as they travel to Richmond Heights, their only game this week. Gymnastics, how was that over the weekend?
Yes, it was very good. I'm going to just read some stats because, we've had some. We were excited because we have enough girls to have a team, compete as a team. In years past, we've had only one or two, but we're going to have 4 or 5 girls. Macy Freeman's going to be joining our team here. She's been competing in other areas. She's joining our program, so we're excited about that. She's only a freshman, comes very highly regarded. Her sister Marley actually won the beam last night and took second in all around. So we're sort of at that stride. They're going to a lot of tournaments as well. We do some duels and tries and different things out at legs, but then again trying to put our kids in situations to get them ready for that postseason. They're going to invitationals mainly on weekends. So I know they're doing a great job, and with both the Freeman girls. Now I think we're ready to go, and we'll see where we go as far as the postseason. It'll be fun.
And then swimming, it was a busy day this past Saturday. A lot of teams were here. I noticed because I was here for girls basketball, but the pack was loaded with kids walking around, and a nice swim event here for Perry this past Saturday.
It was, and we have we take great pride in that. So it's always the first Saturday of January is Perry Pin City Invitational for wrestling, and the following Saturday is always our big swim invite. So actually a tiny bit smaller than what it's been in the past, but it was nice to, again, probably 12 to 14 teams here on campus in our pool, and again, having our kids compete against high level of competition is what we want to do when we put this tournament together. And I think our boys and girls teams did fantastic. And again, excited about some of the things that they've got coming up as well. For this postseason. So
yeah, and then they'll be back they have this week off. They'll be back in action on Monday when Menor comes here to Perry. So check out the swim team coming up, and we've talked about Brody Hicks, who again is still leading the area in a number of categories.
Yeah, so here's our stats leaderboard. I did it for the wrestling, for the boys wrestling a little bit. Swim stat leaderboard in News Herald. Boys 200 medley relays at 147.3. Our 200 free relay is 136.8. Boys 400 free, 340.95. And then Brody Hicks in the 200 free, the 200 IM, the 50 free, the 100 fly, and the 100 back. He's right there on that leaderboard. And then Noelle Griffith, who we had on last week as our female athlete of the week. In the 50 free, she's at 26.32 and 57.17 in the 100 free. So far, so good. Looking forward to it. They're competing this coming weekend out at Hawken in the CVC tournament. So we wish our girls are 6-time defending CVC champs. So I know there's always that innate pressure. Like no one wants to be the first team not to be crowned CVC champs. But that said, we're going against some good competition and some good teams out there. So we wish our boys and girls nothing but the best this weekend at the CVC tournament out at Hawken on Saturday.
So get out there, support the team on Saturday. Then the only other thing still going, which is, again, a spring sport,
Yeah.
but playing here in the winter. Girls softball picked up 2 wins this weekend at the CSU Dome.
Yeah, so put us at 3-1 on the year, and again, just a great opportunity for our kids to go compete in the sport that, obviously we know what it's doing outside right now, right? It's snowing, it's cold. There's no way we can play baseball or softball, but I give hats off to both programs, baseball, softball, another spring sport, and track. There's indoor track going on right now, and just trying to get ready for their season because they're next up, right? It's only a month from now when we kick the season off on February 17th, the first official day of practice for baseball and softball anyway. That they'll be ready to go because they've been open gyms, open cages. They've been able to play at CSU in games. It's awesome. So hats off to our players and our coaches, and best of luck as they keep going here over the next coming weeks.
Yeah, and again, I mean, there's a lot going on here in Perry Athletics, so make sure you get out, support the teams. All of the sports will be in action coming up this weekend, so you can find out where they're at, listen back to the podcast, see where they're going, but there's plenty of action coming up from Wednesday until the next time we do the pod next week.
And I'll give a quick middle school minute update as well. Mindy wasn't able to join us today. She's actually subbing in the building, so she couldn't be down here. She's got a class full of kids right now. But wrestling will compete at home. Again, we're shooting this on Wednesday, so you may not get this until after. But we've got 6 teams coming in to the field house tonight for a big middle school. It's not a tournament. They'll wrestle a couple matches each, but it's something that the CVC schedules and puts together. So 6 teams tonight for middle school wrestling. The 7th grade basketball team on the girls' side remains undefeated. Yeah. So it's awesome. They are in the 3rd round of the playoffs. They'll be here Thursday night at Perry. Time is to be determined, but we'll face Orange in the semifinal. If we win that game, they'll be in the final here at Perry on Saturday morning. But they only have 5 girls playing, and it just a hats off to them for 5. I mean, no subs. Somebody gets hurt. What do you do? It's just a great sort of story to hear. So the 8th grade girls, they're turning up in the playoffs as well here, according to Mindy's notes. They'll play the winner of Geneva and Richmond Heights on Thursday in the semifinals. So both teams in the semifinals of the CVC championships. Couldn't ask for much more than that. And then again, as I mentioned, CVC championships for girls basketball are this weekend. They will be here on Saturday. So the Chagrin and Lake and the Metro and the Valley will all be here Saturday in the main gym and the middle school gym, 9 a.m. and 10:15 a.m. games here for middle school girls basketball championships. And I know the boys are plugging away as well. Their championships are coming up on President's Day weekend. The girls are on MLK weekend, so the boys got another couple of weeks. We'll be able to highlight some of their accomplishments here in the coming shows.
Yeah, and I went a little bit yesterday over to the middle school girls, and you mentioned the 7th grade only playing with 5, and the way they get up and down the floor, I mean, they're for only having 5.
Yeah.
They don't get tired. Like, it's amazing that they're going up and down, playing defense. They're scoring a ton, which great accomplishment for them. And not to take anything away from the 8th grade as well, as they picked up that win too.
Yeah, they got it done as well. And again, I'm sure both want to be in that championship game and have a chance to compete. But what I like about it, and coaches sort of roll their eyes at me, or maybe parents roll their eyes when I say this, I love that it's getting these athletes ready to compete at the high school level, which is ultimately what we, at that varsity level, we want to compete for CVC championships year in and year out, and ultimately sectional district, regional, and so on championships as well. And this experience that they're having now in middle school and that they're having in travel before middle school or in our youth programming, whether it be rec or travel, anything that they're doing, it's just getting them ready for high school. And we're in such a great, gives us a great advantage when they do step out on the court there in their high school years.
Yeah, so plenty of action. So not only the high school, but get out and support the middle school as well. There are plenty of events coming up here at Perry, either at home or on the road. So again, we'll have a ton to talk about again next week when we come back for week 20.
Week 20 already. It's crazy to say that, and we took a couple of weeks off over the break, but 22 weeks of the school year are in, and we'll be happy to bring you some updates as to what our teams are doing here in Perry Athletics next week, week 20 of Walk the Plank. We'll sign off for now. Thanks for joining us. Remember to get your podcast here, the Walk the Plank podcast. Various different ways. Shouldn't be hard to find out there now. We'd love to get as many listeners and updates and do this to promote our kids and our teams. We appreciate you tuning in. Have a great week, and we'll see you next week.